Welcome to Bible in a Year with Scott Purcell. I'm so glad you're joining me. This is a daily reading of portions of the Bible, following a plan that will include the entire Bible in a year. And now, let's open the book and begin our readings. This is the reading for day 185. If your reading is aligned with the calendar year in a non-leap year, this is for July 4th. Or in a leap year, for July 3rd. The Old Testament reading is from 2 Kings chapter 8, beginning with verse 16, through the end of 2 Kings chapter 9. 2 Kings 8:16. Now in the 5th year of Joram, son of Ahab, king of Israel, and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, Joram, son of Jehoshaphat, became the king of Judah. He was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. He walked in the way of the kings of Israel as the house of Ahab had done, for the daughter of Ahab became his wife, and he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh. Yet Yahweh was not willing to destroy Judah for the sake of David his servant, as he had promised to give him a lamp for his sons always. In his days, Edom rebelled against the rule of Judah, and they set up a king over them. So Joram crossed over to Zair, and all the chariots with him. It happened that he arose by night and attacked Edom, who had surrounded him, and the commanders of the chariots. But the army fled to their tents. So Edom has rebelled against the rule of Judah until this day. Then Libnah also rebelled at that time. The remainder of the acts of Joram and all that he did, are they not written in the scroll of the events of the days of the kings of Judah? So Joram slept with his ancestors, and he was buried with his ancestors in the city of David, and Ahaziah his son became king in place of him. In the 12th year of Joram the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Ahaziah the son of Joram became king of Judah. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Athaliah, daughter of Omri, king of Israel. He walked in the way of the house of Ahab, and did evil in the eyes of Yahweh as the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab. He went with Joram, the son of Ahab, for the battle against Hazael, king of Aram, at Ramoth-Gilead, and the Arameans wounded Joram. Joram the king returned to Jezreel to heal from the wounds that the Arameans had inflicted on him at Ramah, when he fought with Hazael, king of Aram. Ahaziah, the son of Joram, king of Judah, went down to see Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, for he was ill. 2 Kings chapter 9. Now Elisha the prophet called for one of the sons of the prophets, and he said to him, "Gird your loins, and take this flask of olive oil in your hand, and go to Ramoth-Gilead. Go there and look there for Jehu the son of Jehoshaphat the son of Nimshi. Go, for you must cause him to arise from among his brothers, and you must bring him into an inner room. You must take the flask of olive oil and pour it out on his head. You must say, 'Thus says Yahweh, I hereby anoint you as king over Israel.' Then you must open the door and flee. Do not linger." So the young man, servant of the prophet, went to Ramoth-Gilead. He came, and look, the commanders of the army were sitting there. He said, "I have a word for you, O commander." Jehu said, "For whom? For all of us?" And he said, "For you, O commander." He got up and went to the house, and poured the olive oil on his head, and said to him, "Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, I hereby anoint you as king over the people of Yahweh, over Israel. You will destroy the house of Ahab your master, and you will avenge the blood of my servants the prophets, and the blood of all of the servants of Yahweh from the hand of Jezebel. All of the house of Ahab will perish, and I shall cut off all males from Ahab, both bond and free. I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Ahijah. The dogs will eat Jezebel in the territory of Jezreel, and there shall not be anyone to bury her. Then he opened the door and fled. Then Jehu came out to the officers of his master, and they said to him, Peace? Why did this madman come to you? And he said to them, You know the man and his foolish talk. Then they said, Liar, please tell us. He said, Thus and so he said to me, saying, Thus says Yahweh, I hereby anoint you as king over Israel. So they hastened each one to take his cloak, and they spread them under him on the bare steps, blew on the trumpet, and said, Jehu is king. So Jehu the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Now Joram was keeping guard in Ramoth-Gilead, he and all of Israel, because of the threat of Hazael, king of Aram. But Joram the king had returned to heal in Jezreel from the wounds that the Arameans had inflicted on him when he fought with Hazael, king of Aram. Jehu said, If this is what you want, do not let him go out as a fugitive from the city to go to make it known in Jezreel. Jehu mounted his chariot and went to Jezreel, for Joram was lying there. And Ahaziah, king of Judah, had gone down to visit Joram. Now the watchman was standing on the tower in Jezreel, and he saw the company of Jehu when he came, and he said, I see a company. Joram said, Take a horseman and send him to meet them. And he said, Is it peace? So the rider of the horse went out to meet them, and he said, Thus the king asks, Is it peace? Then Jehu said, What do you have to do with peace? Turn after me. Then the watchman reported, saying, The messenger went up to them, but he did not return. Then he sent out a second horseman, and he came to them and said, Thus the king asks, Is it peace? Then Jehu said, What do you have to do with peace? Turn after me. So the sentinel reported, saying, He went up to them, but he did not return. And the driving is like the driving of Jehu the son of Nimshi, for he drives with madness. Then Joram said, Get ready. So he got his chariot ready. Joram, king of Israel, went out, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, each with his chariot. They went out to meet Jehu, and they found him at the tract of land of Naboth the Jezreelite. When Joram saw Jehu, he asked, Is it peace, Jehu? And he said, What peace is there, while the prostitutions of your mother Jezebel and her sorceries are numerous? Joram turned his chariot and fled, and said to Ahaziah, It's treason, Ahaziah. Then Jehu drew his bow and shot Joram between his shoulders, so that the arrow went out from his heart, and he slumped down in his chariot. He said to Bidkar, his third servant, Lift him out and throw him on the plot of the field of Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember, you and I were with the pair of chariots behind Ahab his father, when Yahweh pronounced this oracle against him. Since I saw the blood of Naboth and the blood of his children yesterday, declares Yahweh, I will requite it from you in this tract of land, declares Yahweh. So then, lift him out and throw him on the tract of land, according to the word of Yahweh. When Ahaziah, king of Judah, saw, he fled the way of Beth-Haggan. Jehu pursued after him and said, Shoot him also in the chariot. They shot him at the ascent of Gur, which is in Ibleam, and he fled to Megiddo, but he died there. Then his officers carried him to Jerusalem, and they buried him in his tomb with his ancestors in the city of David. In the 11th year of Joram the son of Ahab, Ahaziah had become king over Judah. When Jehu came to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it. So she painted her eyes with black eye paint, and adorned her head, and looked through the window. Now Jehu had come in the gate. So she said, "Is it peace, O Zimri, murderer of his master?" When he lifted up his face to the window, he asked, "Who is with me?" 2 or 3 eunuchs looked down to him. So he said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down, and her blood spattered on the wall and on the horses, and they trampled her. Then he came and ate and drank and said, "Please take care of this cursed one and bury her, for she is the daughter of a king." When they went to bury her, they could not find her, except the skull, the feet, and the palms of the hands. They returned and told him, and he said, "This is the word of Yahweh, which he spoke by the hand of his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, On the plot of ground of Jezreel the dogs shall eat the flesh of Jezebel." So the dead body of Jezebel became dung on the surface spread on the field of the plot of ground in Jezreel. So one cannot say, "This is Jezebel." The New Testament reading is from Acts chapter 23, from verse 12 to verse 35. Acts 23:12. And when it was day, the Jews made a conspiracy, and bound themselves under a curse, saying they would neither eat nor drink until they had killed Paul. Now there were more than 40 who had made this conspiracy, who went to the chief priest and the elders and said, "We have bound ourselves under a curse to partake of nothing until we have killed Paul. Therefore, now you, along with the Sanhedrin, explain to the military tribune that he should bring him down to you, as if you were going to determine more accurately the things concerning him. And we are ready to do away with him before he comes near." But when the son of Paul's sister heard about the ambush, he came and entered into the barracks and reported it to Paul. So Paul called one of the centurions and said, "Bring this young man to the military tribune, because he has something to report to him." So he took him and brought him to the military tribune and said, "The prisoner Paul called me and asked me to bring this young man to you because he has something to tell you." And the military tribune, taking hold of his hand and withdrawing privately, asked, "What is it that you have to report to me?" And he said, "The Jews have agreed to ask you that you bring Paul down to the Sanhedrin tomorrow, as if they were going to inquire somewhat more accurately concerning him. You, therefore, do not be persuaded by them, because more than 40 men of their number are lying in wait for him, who have bound themselves under a curse, neither to eat nor to drink until they have done away with him. And now they are ready, waiting for you to agree." So the military tribune sent the young man away, directing him, "Tell no one that you have revealed these things to me." And he summoned 2 of the centurions and said, "Make ready from the 3rd hour of the night 200 soldiers and 70 horsemen and 200 spearmen, in order that they may proceed as far as Caesarea, and provide mounts so that they can put Paul on them and bring him safely to Felix the governor." He wrote a letter that had this form: "Claudius Lysias, to His Excellency Governor Felix, greetings. This man was seized by the Jews and was about to be killed by them when I came upon them with the detachment and rescued him, because I learned that he was a Roman citizen. And because I wanted to know the charge for which they were accusing him, I brought him down to their Sanhedrin. I found he was accused concerning controversial questions of their law. but having no charge deserving death or imprisonment. And when it was made known to me that there would be a plot against the man, I sent him to you immediately, also ordering his accusers to speak against him before you. Therefore the soldiers, in accordance with their orders, took Paul and brought him to Antipatris during the night. And on the next day they let the horsemen go on with him, and they returned to the barracks. The horsemen, when they came to Caesarea and delivered the letter to the governor, also presented Paul to him. So after reading the letter and asking what province he was from, and learning that he was from Cilicia, he said, I will give you a hearing whenever your accusers arrive also, giving orders for him to be guarded in the praetorium of Herod. The wisdom literature reading is from Psalm chapter 80, from verse 1 through verse 7. Psalm 80. For the music director, according to the lilies, a testimony of Asaph, a psalm. Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, who leads Joseph like a flock. Shine forth, you who sits enthroned above the cherubim. Before Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh, stir up your power and come for our salvation. O God, restore us, and cause your face to shine that we may be saved. O Yahweh, God of hosts, how long will you be angry against the prayer of your people? You have fed them the bread of tears. You have given them tears to drink in full measure. You have made us an object of strife to our neighbors, and our enemies mock among themselves. O God of hosts, restore us, and cause your face to shine that we may be saved. This concludes the reading for day 185. Thank you for listening. These daily readings are made possible by your generous support of the global outreach ministry of Scott Purcell. To partner with us and enable this work and others like it, please visit huttobible.com/give and select Go Pastor Support from the fund list. You can also sign up for ministry updates at scott-purcell.epistle.org/subscribe. Both of those links can be found in the podcast description. Thank you for helping us share God's Word.